Hello?
Does anyone on this planet have any hair?
No. I'm here with great appreciation. And I was just talking to my neighbor, and I was saying that, all of this is about the same thing, and how we go around and around and around. And I would say that last year I had I was in a very dark place. And I went back to a lot of the teachings and all the things I remembered from before that I had forgotten. And my question to you is, and for, the sake of not sounding like an infomercial, how do I get what you're saying, but how do I not forget the teachings?
Well, forgetting is about inactivity. In other words, we've been talking all day here today about forgetting things that you don't want to keep active in your experience. And so the answer to the question is you forget what's not active. So this is a good infomercial for forgetting what you don't want. In other words, if you can forget something that's meaningful, then you could certainly forget something that's not helpful. So you could say, I'm really good at forgetting. It's just a matter of what your attention is turned upon. In other words, in this physical world, it is really logical that you would give a lot of your attention to what's going on around you. And when you're giving your attention to what's going on around you, you're sort of forgetting who you really are. In other words, if you're living financial shortage and it's vivid and the bills are coming in and people are hounding you and you're uncomfortable about it, it's easy to keep that active, and it's easy to forget prosperity under those conditions, because you can't live prosperity and lack of it at the same time, you see. So let's give a definition to forgetting and remembering. Let's call it what it really is. It's an active vibration or an inactive vibration. Esther has been noticing. She's really enjoying this too, because she can feel an added clarity to her day-to-day tasks and experiences that she knows for sure is due to Jerry's attention. She knows it for sure. Because of the timing of it, because of the detail of it, because of the subject of it, she can really feel that it's Jerry's involvement. And she's noticed a new, what she is calling a phenomenon in her own experience, where she'll be almost ready to move down an unnecessarily unpleasant path, thought-wise, and the thought will go right out of her head. It's as if another vibration just took over and kept that one from coming. In other words, she forgot it. A woman came to the hot seat a few seminars ago, very eager to get into the hot seat, and we saw the energy of her, invited her here, and when she sat down, she couldn't remember what she wanted to talk about. So we sent her away in utter humiliation. No. And we explained to her that the reason she couldn't remember is because she had written her question, her troubling question, before she'd even left her house that morning. If I get in the hot seat, this is what I want to ask Abraham. But the discussion had moved to such a high level of vibration, and she had moved to a higher level of vibration, and that question was no longer accessible to her. She couldn't even remember what it was, and she had written it down. So it's all about focus. And we know in this situation, you're wondering why you could forget something that is beneficial, but it's all about focus. If you've got not enough money active in your vibration, then you are essentially forgetting how to be prosperous. If you're focused upon someone who is having a really hard time in a relationship, then you are, for the time that you're focused there, you are forgetting about how to have a really good relationship. You cannot watch your television today without forgetting most of the well-being that you know. Your television is a veritable wasteland. There's not much well-being going on your television. It's mostly stuff that if you watch it, it will cause you to forget the well-being that is abundant. And yet, you have this planet spinning in its orbit that is completely observable, impossible to forget, and a sun that comes round every day to warm your planet, every single day. And yet you can get so immersed in crap. Esther has a lot of very demonstrable vocabulary. Sometimes words just sum things up succinctly. There's just so much that you can focus upon that causes you not to remember, you see. So we think this is a really good conversation. What is it that you want to remember? I want to remember that I live in a vibrational universe, and I want to remember that I'm vibrational. I want to remember that I'm worthy. And how are you going to remember it? What is remembering? You see, your brain is not a storage cabinet. It's not like a file cabinet where you're putting things. Esther teases that she's having to dump childhood memories because as time goes by, there's so much to live. But of course, she's kidding about that because your brain is not a storage cabinet. It's a transmitting and receiving mechanism. And when you're on a frequency, that's what you're remembering. When you're on a frequency, that's what you're remembering. And law of attraction will compound it and help you to remember it more and more and more and more and more. And that really is what we mean by getting out ahead of it vibrationally. It's a lovely thing to get out ahead of it vibrationally. I'm the creator of my own reality, which means I'm the author of my vibration, which means I get to choose the thoughts I think. And there are so many things to look at that I would like to amplify. And these are the things that I would like to talk about. If you would treat every day like a buffet and start in a general sense, in other words, divide your world, your personal world into 4 categories. Call it my body, call it my work, call it my relationships, call it my house or my dwelling. And then as you define each of those categories, ask yourself, what do I want to see relative to this? What is the best thing about my house? It's warmth. It's a haven for me. It's a place that I get to go. It's a place where space that's carved out for me. It's a place where I can have privacy. It's a place where I get to be. It's a place where I get to bring my things. In other words, these are the positive aspects of my house, my body, this vessel that lets me translate this physical experience into something that is tactile. This body that moves me around. I am more efficient than any machine. I have more flexibility and more resiliency. My genius, brilliant, magnificent body. My relationships. Identify the positive aspects of them. These people are so much fun. These people are so nice to be with. These people have created this environment. These people are managing this environment. These people are making the beds and cooking the food and fixing the highways. These people, so many people to appreciate. So much in your world to activate and to keep active and to remember. And so much of your world that really isn't worth keeping activated. It served its purpose. It showed you what you wanted. The step oneness of it is now done. It's no longer of advantage to you, you see. What do I want to keep active in my vibration? Do you believe that you are the creator of your own reality? Yes. And do you believe that you have created a reality and that the source within you knows that reality and bees that reality and lives that reality? Do you believe that there's a vibrational signal being beamed to you specifically about what you've carved out of this physical life experience? Do you believe that there is a reality called the reality that you created that exists, ready to manifest, really to be realized by you? Do you believe that? We know it for sure, you see, because we see it in its vibrational form and we see you allowing it to flow into your grid. Do you believe that you will recognize it when you see it? And do you believe that you have to see it before you feel it? Or do you believe that you have to feel it before you see it? Is the revelation going to come after the emotion? Or is the emotion going to come in response to the revelation? You know the answer to this, don't you? You are the creator of your own reality. The world is responding to you. Everyone that you interact with is a co-creator in the vibration that you've got going on. And there are no mistakes ever, 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 ever. There's never a vibrational mismatch. Law of attraction is definite and kind and consistent. Do you believe that you are the creator of your own reality? Yes. Do you believe that you have the emotional acuity to know what you're doing vibrationally? Do you believe that you have the ability to know what you're doing vibrationally and that you can change what you're doing vibrationally? Do you believe that you have the ability to focus under any and all conditions? Yes. Do you believe that everybody else is creating their own reality? Do you believe that anybody comes into your experience accidentally? Does anything unwanted ever come to you uninvited? Do you invite every single thing that comes to you?
Absolutely.
Do you believe that you can invite more of it deliberately? Do you want to create life by default, or do you want to be a deliberate creator? Do you believe that there is fun in deliberate creation?
Absolutely.
We want to say to you, it's where the only fun is. Because when stuff comes that you have not identified and acknowledged as something that you desire, and then work to achieve vibrational alignment with, when it comes, you don't even notice it because it's not on your radar. But when you have deliberately identified something that you want, honed it out of the absence of it, maybe even, and you have found a way to focus even in the absence of the manifestation of it, by focusing upon the feeling of it, by the why of it, not the how or the where or the who or the when, but the why of it. Why do I want this? Then as it begins filling into your grid, then you're excited about it. You see, we see you excited over a parking place. And you should be, because it is as easy to create a castle as a button. It just depends on what's in your line of focus and what you're allowing. Do you believe that you can create buttons? Do you believe that you can create castles? Do you believe that you can create buttons? Do you believe that buttons are important to create? Does everything have to be bouncing off the wall enthusiasm? Is there power in satisfaction? Do you like molding the clay of your mind deliberately? Do you think that you need to think more or rest more? Do you think that you need to try harder or try less? Do you associate trying with action or thinking? Do you need to try to think better thoughts? It was a trap. Do you need to try to think better thoughts? Or do you need to relax into better thoughts? Will the better thought come in the relaxation? Is a better thought already there? Is a better thought a manifestation that will flow into your grid if you will allow it? So, do you think that you get more done with your long list of things you need to do? Or do you get more done by allowing yourself more leeway?